All right, we're here. That's all that matters. We got here. We're a little late. Power's out. Doesn't matter. We are still here. Appreciate everybody joining us a little late this morning as we kick off the show. It's been a morning. Hopefully everybody out there safe, sound. The fridge is plugged into the generator. Kids' schools are closed. We have power here at Berks, so we're ready to rock and roll this morning on a very, very busy morning for the show. Guards doubleheader coming up. We got a chance for gold here in Northeast Ohio. More Brandon Aiyuk news. We got the Deshaun Watson news. He's not playing in the preseason. We'll get to the grid. We got the bracket. Pat's got the morning update. We got it all. Just 20 minutes late for you right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Pat McGuire. Woo! What a morning. What a morning. We're here.
We're
We're
good. It's been a
good.
busy one on the west side, I'll tell you that,
It is.
Matt. I know
So,
you know that.
I know. Again, everybody out there, I hope you're safe. Dude, that carnage was about as bad as I've ever seen. I've lived here my whole life, and I know we've had tornadoes come down before. Driving around yesterday, just getting the kids back from school. Dude, I hope everybody's all right out there. It was bad. I know, 350,000 people out of power right now. So stay safe, look out for one another out there, and we're happy to be here to give you a couple hours rest. So this is our morning. So all night, no power. We had to pull the plug. Pat, we had to let our son sleep in our bed with us. That's one of the things as a parent, they tell you don't ever do that because now he's just going to think that he can sleep in our bed all the time. But we're like, what are we going to do? My wife
make him sleep outside. Come on.
No, but it was so hot that we were like, all right, we had the windows open. Okay, fine. My wife had to hold the baby all night. So we got through. Then I wake up this morning. My dad in the car bringing the generator over, plugged in the fridge, offered my neighbor. I told my neighbor, I was like, we'll run a power cord over, plug your fridge in too. So the generator's on, and then my dad looks at me and goes, I hope nobody comes over and steals the generator. And I go, you go to a special place in hell if you steal somebody's generator in the middle of a power outage, okay? I just want to say that. I'm going to come back, Pat, and the generator's going to be gone, but whatever. So got the kids, had to run to the store to get supplies for the day. So we're ready to go. We are happy that you're with us this morning. Appreciate it. And again, I hope everybody is safe and all right out there. And I do want to say this. God bless all those line workers and the people, the EMS, all the first responders, because I know their day was not fun. Their night was not fun. I know it sucks for all of us, but give them a break. All right. So all the line workers out there, the men and women trying to get our power back on, God bless, stay safe, and we'll get through this thing together as we roll. So it was funny, Pat, because I was like, the show. I'm like, obviously, I hate not doing the show. I truly enjoy doing this. I thank my wife and my in-laws for being like, no, go get there. I appreciate you coming in because we got big news today on this Brandon Aiyuk stuff. And it really all starts with a couple of things. So yesterday, the news comes out that the Steelers are back in this thing when it comes to Brandon Aiyuk. And the first thing that I thought of was what? Well, the 49ers played this out perfectly, right? They leak all this stuff out. They drive the prices back up because they want to get more teams back involved. When you have a trade, you want the most amount of teams involved. It's like selling your house, right? You want the most amount of offers so you can weed through some of the bad ones, get the top ones, and let them fight each other out. That only benefits you. Now, the interesting thing about Aiyuk is he has so much power in this situation. I was reading something, and it's like, it's not like he has a no trade clause, but he's got so much power in deciding where he wants to go or not. What do we get this morning, Pat? He allegedly doesn't want to come to Cleveland. Kimberly Martin reported that he does not want to come to the Cleveland Browns. Now, old school Browns fan and Clevelander, what happens? You go, well, fine, blank off then. You get angry about it because it used to be that people take shots at Cleveland and nobody wants to play for the Browns. We're not there anymore. So I asked a genuine question and I go, why? Why? And if it's not that it could be as simple as the contract doesn't match up, right? He wants to push for more money from somebody else. Whatever. And it also sounds like he's wanted to go to Pittsburgh forever. It's now all of a sudden getting leaked out that maybe for months he's been trying to find his way to Pittsburgh. And again, to my core, you get angry because then you go, well, blank Pittsburgh. What do they have that we don't, right? The Browns are a better situation than the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I just asked myself, I find that so interesting that there's something about him going there. And I don't know what it is. Again, personal taste, preference, whatever it might be. I don't know. But I'm good on Brandon Aiyuk then. I'm good. And I started there on it's really been a 3-day kind of circular event. Monday, I was like, dude, I'm fine. And we tried to talk ourselves into, well, how could they make a trade? Then Tuesday, it's all right, they're in this, and maybe they're going to make the trade. And now I'm back to, that's fine, don't worry about it. And if you got used as a pawn in this whole thing, so what? I don't care. And it really kind of comes back to my initial feelings on Brandon Aiyuk. I'm a little concerned. Is he the guy? You want me to move this out of the way? Are you sure? All right. It's all right. Doing some promotional things here on the show today. Hang on. Just let me get a slug. We need it today. Dude, the lines at the coffee stores today were insane. Like, I wanted to just slide into Dunkin' or Starbucks or something. And everyone, and again, maybe it's just 9 o'clock on it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people woke up like, I need a freaking coffee today. But anyway. So when it comes back to, is Brandon Aiyuk really that guy? Is he that receiver for you that you look at and you say, he's gonna put us in this position? Is he better? Even yesterday, I felt like we were grasping at straws and really pushing hard to try to find the reasons why we felt Brandon Aiyuk was an upgrade over Amari Cooper. And I had reservations about that. I had reservations about it. If you just want to look from a strict statistical breakdown that we did on Monday's show, they're under a blanket, man. They're about as close as you could get for touchdowns, yards, and all that. Then when I factor in that he's in the offense, that I have a lot of respect for Kyle Shanahan, and I just wonder, is he a product of that system? So if you want to add up all that in, and then if you want to drop that cherry on top that he doesn't want to come to Cleveland, then you want to know what? Best of luck to you, man. Now, the problem is he would be going to your rival. He would be going to a team, as much as we want to crap and make fun of the Steelers and try to sit there and say that they suck. Pat, I don't want him going there on the off chance that he actually is the missing piece. Now, again, you would laugh and you'd be like, oh, they got Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. What are they going to do? I don't want them to find that out. I don't want them to find that out. And I'm also one that I buy a little bit of what the Steelers are selling. They have a lot of pieces. Yeah, Arthur Smith gets a bad rap because of how it went in Atlanta. He's still a really good offensive coordinator. And guys get that stink. When they become a head coach and it doesn't go well, people instantly label them, they're a bad coach. That's just not true. Sometimes they're just better at being a coordinator or maybe even just a position coach. Ryan, would you look at Bill Callahan? And Ryan, I did it already once. Pat, would you look at Bill Callahan and say Bill Callahan's a bad coach? No. Well, he had a bite at the apple as a head coach. Now, what did he also do? He took the Raiders to a freaking Super Bowl. Now, do you ever read about those stories about what happened to Bill Callahan in that Super Bowl?
I'm sure there's tons of them.
Dude. He had an offensive lineman that went rogue. One of their starting offensive linemen, they found him in Tijuana. He was, and it's kind of a serious story. He was off his meds, and he had an episode, and he left.
Unreal.
The day before the Super Bowl, they couldn't find him. Then, once the game started, Tim Brown was accusing Bill Callahan of sabotaging the offensive game plan. They said they had practiced all week to get ready for the Super Bowl. The game starts, and they go, why didn't we run any of these plays? That's all aside. It's a Bill Callahan, branch that I didn't know I was going to go down to. But anyway, there would be an example that he's just better as an offensive line coach or maybe an offensive coordinator. So I actually believe kind of what Arthur Smith might be selling there. I don't want them to find out. Now, would I be crying myself to sleep if Brandon Aiyuk went to the Steelers? Not necessarily. Okay, fine. Here I am trying to make the reasons why he's not good enough for the Cleveland Browns. All right, you discard him and you go on with Pittsburgh. But the fact that, again, Kimberly Martin this morning, Brandon Aiyuk doesn't want to come to the Browns, then you want to know what? I appreciate you, man. See you later. That's fine. That's fine. And I get that there's also an element of Browns fans. What is all of this stuff, Pat? It's exciting. It's fun that you're in this trade discussion and you get excited about a good player coming to your team. It's over. Like, I feel pretty now, again, say this clip, because, again, tomorrow we'll be doing the show that they traded for Brandon Aiyuk. I think this is over. I really do think this is over. And there's also now reports coming out that maybe the door isn't completely closed on him coming back to San Francisco, which I said yesterday I still think is Brandon Aiyuk's best play here. He should go back to San Francisco and say, hey, I'm not playing on this $14.1 million deal here. Give me some more money. Let me sign a deal that says you cannot franchise tag me next year, and I will hit free agency, and I can pick the team that I want to go to, and I can get a big, fat contract right there. That's what I would do. That if I was him. So I think the avenues are, if he wants to go to Pittsburgh, where it sounds like he's been trying to get that done, or go back to San Francisco, I think those are the two favorites. I think those are the two favorites right now. And especially now the Patriots are reportedly out of it. I never understood that. That's one that I never understood. Outside of them being able to offer a little bit more money, why would you want to go there? They don't really. And now next year, if Drake May shows you something this year, maybe they become a destination. I don't see that right now. So I'm good, man. I'm coming from a, I guess, position of power in this thing. You entered the fray. And I'll tell you this, I'm not angry about Andrew Berry doing that. With a trade like this, when it's open, if you see an avenue, if you see the littlest, tiniest sliver to jump on in there, throw your hat in this ring, do it. Didn't work out, we move on. Now, it's never that simple, Pat. What's the fallout to Amari Cooper in this whole thing? Because we got to remember, has there actually been any legitimate reporting? And we talked about that with Ben Axelrod yesterday, where there's so many accounts and there's so many people and verified and followers and what do you know, this or that. Do we have it concrete that this was Amari Cooper in this deal? I don't know.
We don't.
I don't think so, right?
Not concretely.
Not right. So then could you go back and be like, dude, you were actually never a part of this. And that was all just the fluff and the people out there and doing that kind of stuff. But the fallout would be that if it was him, is that awkward now? Is that something that he carries with him? Now, again, we all know what the future is with Amari Cooper. He's going to play this year for the Cleveland Browns. He will probably not be here next year. It's part of the business. You accept it and you move on. Now, we also leave that window open that he goes out there, balls out, and you get him another deal and you move on from there. You got to leave that all open. And I do believe Amari Cooper's the ultimate professional. He's the ultimate team kind of guy. He can accept that, and he can understand that, and we can move on. So I look at it this way. You threw your hat in the ring. This went belly up on you, and we move on. And Brandon Aiyuk will not be a member of the Cleveland Browns. Save that for Old Takes Exposed. I don't think that's that crazy to say. I don't think he's coming here. I think for a lot of different reasons. You try it, didn't work, we move on. That's all good.
Right. I don't think so either. And to be honest with you, I think one of the things that people are underestimating too is how much of kind of a character and personality that he's got. Just
who's that? Aiyuk?
Aiyuk, yeah. You know how many times he's been in the doghouse of Kyle Shanahan or whatever. If there's a coach that comes to my mind who can handle that, it is Tomlin. So that would scare me a little bit. Think of all the George Pickens, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell for years and years and years.
That's a good point. And the other thing is Aiyuk going there, does that not become his offense? And I like George Pickens, but I think that's that element. If he comes here, and I'm not saying this is a factor, but it's just kind of off of that. If he came here, again, you assume Amari Cooper is gone, but like you still have David Njoku, you still have Nick Chubb, you still have Deshaun Watson. Brandon Aiyuk goes to Pittsburgh. He's it. He's the guy there. Now, do you feel confident about Justin Fields throwing you passes over there? I don't know. Maybe he's really intrigued by that. I would be.
Good deep ball thrower, but
I'm a Justin Fields apologist over here. I think he got a raw deal in Chicago. Did not like him going to Pittsburgh, and I want him to come to the Cleveland Browns. He's not here. Fine, we move forward on it. But, yeah, maybe that's another part of this, that he sees something there. The other thing, as we get closer to this actually being, because I think it's going to happen this week. There's something's going to happen this week. He's going to get traded or he's going to go back to the 49ers. You're hitting the road here. You're ready to go for preseason. You got to figure this kind of stuff out. And I think with the 49ers, you also got to ask yourself, what truly do they want to do? They're a team that has Super Bowl goals this year. They're trying to go win. I don't think they're trying to give away Brandon Aiyuk. And as much as he wants to force this, we can't forget that it's still the 49ers' decision. Even if it came back that they got the trade package they wanted and Aiyuk got the contract you wanted, it's still up to John Lynch. It's still up to him to say, you know what, we actually are going to do this. he could rebuff the whole thing and say, you know what? Actually, Brandon, we're keeping you here, man. Play that hard ball with him and go, dude, you're going to have to play here. Fine. Play that out. See how it goes. But the Aiyuk news, I think, has settled down now for the Cleveland Browns. And, again, I will leave the tiniest window open, but I think it's all done. I think this is done. And again, for the couple of days that is exciting, for the couple of days that you felt like, all right, we were in this great excitement on that, we can now focus in on here and get ready to go for the season. I think that's where I'm at the Cleveland Browns. Speaking of getting ready for the season, Kevin Stefanski made the announcement yesterday, Deshaun Watson not going to play this weekend in the preseason opener. Now, it was interesting where he said some starters might. And he gave the caveat. If they're coming off of injury, no. If they are battling injuries, no. And then he gave the ultimate one. It's also at his discretion on who's going to play or not. I've been beating this drum, Pat, ain't gonna stop. I want Deshaun Watson out there. And I get that you're going to get your joint practices because the other thing, okay, this is why I think it's weird he's not playing this weekend. You have your joint practices with the Eagles, right? He's not going to play in that game either, okay? Because you use those joint practices as the preseason game. So they're not going to play in game 2. And I think we have seen a little turn now where game 3, which was usually the dress rehearsal, and then nobody played in game 4. Now we don't have game 4. So now we're into game 3, where I think that is where the starters were going to play. So why would you not put him out there for 10 plays? Why would you not put him out there for a couple of plays on Saturday, let him rest up, play the joint practices, sits game 2, and then he plays game 3? I don't understand that. I really don't. And I know if you put Watson in there, you've got to put your starting offensive line in, or at least the semblance of what you think your starting offensive line is going to be to protect him. I think that's a mistake. And this is coming from somebody that I want Deshaun Watson to play this preseason. I need him to feel that pass rush. I need him to get back in there firing. And also, just to give him a little confidence. I think as we talk about everything with Deshaun Watson and knowing this whole season is built up on what he's going to be and what he's going to do for the Browns and all that other kind of stuff, don't you want him to Pat, he's a human being. There is no way that Deshaun Watson has not lost a little confidence. And you could tell me, no way, man. And he's mentally strong and he's going to fight through this bull crap. Okay? And I'm not talking that Deshaun Watson isn't mentally strong. There is in no world, after him playing a little bit last year and a little bit before, he does not have the same confidence as 2021 Deshaun Watson. That world is gone, man. That's over. Dude, 2020, not even 2021. He sat out that season too. I need him back in there to regain a little bit. And here's the best example that I could have. You're a golfer, Pat, just like I am. And it's going bad on the front 9. We've all been there. What does it take?
You just got to see one.
One shot. One shot. One putt, one chip, one drive. I just need that for Deshaun Watson on Saturday, where you put him in there. And even if it was the second play of the game and he uncorks a laser, splits the safeties, and hits David Njoku for 25 yards, I'd walk over and go, come on out. You're good. That's it. But just give him that one. Just the one to build that little bit of confidence and then roll it over. Because the longer this goes on, I know it's preseason. I know it's not a regular season game. Man, you might be saying none of that matters until they get to Dallas and all that. But to just build that and to be able to roll on it a little bit, to get going, to give him something a little bit back. Pat, he can make all these throws in practice, and he can get done and be saying, man, that's really good, and then go to that new interactive. I know everybody's really excited about the new weight room and the new interactive meeting rooms and all that kind of stuff. He can be in there and be all excited and all that. It's different when you're in the game. And even if it's a preseason game, it is different. So I would have liked to have seen him out there on Saturday. And plus, that would have helped the drinking game for us, presented by our friends at Garage Beer. We'll do the preseason drinking game on Friday and get you up. I just would have liked to have had Deshaun Watson in there a little bit. But I was kind of shocked by that. I really was. I thought they'd give him some rub.
Yeah, I think, just going in with Deshaun, too, it's been probably 9 to 10 months where he hasn't walked in with the routine of being the starting quarterback, being the Q1, So walking into the stadium being Q1 with the routine of it, I think would be a lot more helpful for someone who hasn't done it. And then you think kind of like with Bill Callahan as well, the offensive line has a lot of changes going on. You want to hear that, the cadence of Watson's routine, all that type of stuff. I think that's an underrated part of this preseason is literally just hearing the snap count, hearing the hard count, all that type of stuff. It's just, I would like to see him out there for sure.
I would too. And again, we'll get the joint practices. He will play in game 3, obviously, and gear up. So if they felt like that was the right thing, and I also would never read into like he's had a setback with the injury or he's not healthy. Listen, look across the league. Tua Tagovailoa not playing. What was the list we were even talking about this morning, Pat? Like everybody.
Yeah, Kyler Murray.
Bryce Young.
Yeah, at least the first game,
probably
right?
simply. I don't know about that. But like you do have Jordan Love playing. You do have Daniel Jones playing. Like you have some quarterbacks that are getting out there and playing. I guess I would have liked to have seen it, but that's about it. Yesterday out of camp, I know it was inside. I know a lot of fans, man. I know that was really tough for people that came up to go see it, and then obviously the tornado, everything that kind of came through. So that's a tough day yesterday. So I'll be back in practice this week, gearing up and getting ready to go. We got college football. I want to get to this. I'm really interested. Bill Conley put out the 25 most important players for college football this season. And I want to start at number 1 because I also think it's a good primer for us to remember, like, who the stars are. You know, it's like, Pat, it's kind of hard. Like, I consider myself a pretty good college football fan, but you got to remember, you know, obviously, Caleb Williams isn't there anymore. You know, Jaden Daniels is in the NFL. Like, there's just such a turnover of players now. Let's introduce ourselves to some of the other ones. And I thought it was interesting that there's 4 Buckeyes in the top 25 of the most important players. So we'll get to that with Bill Conley coming up, but we got to talk about the guards. They didn't play last night. All good. But today, doubleheader. Bro, 4 games in 3 days, and you don't play tomorrow, and you got a doubleheader with the Twins coming up for this weekend. This is gut punch time for the Guardians. That being said, for today, go ahead and sweep this one out. And again, like I was so ready for that game last night because you had just such the pitching matchup with Ben Lively. Now it changes everything. You get the 26th man for the extra one, but you cannot tax your bullpen. Off day tomorrow helps, but I really think you need to get after one of these games. So now you have Brandon Pfaadt going against Ben Lively, which is a little bit of a stronger matchup there for the Diamondbacks in game 1. And have they announced who game 2 starter is yet?
I don't have it yet, but I can
we have
bet you
Carrasco.
bullpen.
Yeah, we have Carrasco. And then let me see if they've announced the starter for the Diamond. You think they would just push Rodriguez back, would they not? Where are we at here? Okay, wait. Yeah, Rodriguez just goes this afternoon against Carrasco. That actually kind of helps to match him up with Carrasco. But true doubleheader today. We'll get after it. And obviously, we have a lot coming up with the Twins this weekend. We'll get to our wagers for today. So I think it's interesting. Do you like double it up? You just go Guardians win both today?
I love that. I love that play.
Over-under is a low 7.5 coming up against... Wait a minute. Do we have Philly this week? No. What am I looking at? Why is the schedule...
Yeah, we go to Minnesota this weekend.
Dude, ESPN is...
Cubs.
Oh, my God, I'm a dumbass. I'm on the Arizona Diamondbacks schedule. I was like, what the hell?
We got Twins coming up this weekend, and then the Chicago Cubs come to town. How about that?
I was like, wait a minute, what am I... I go, why do we have so many NL teams all of a sudden? I was looking at the Arizona schedule for a second. I'm sorry. So, yeah, they have Rodriguez going today. So, let me flip over to the Guardians. I was like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on there? All right, so we'll get to that coming up. I like the plays for today. We'll get to it a little bit. All right, Bill Connolly's article. So, he runs through the 25 most important players in college football for this upcoming season. Now, I thought it was interesting because we know, like, I'll tell you this, like, Travis Hunter is 25 on this list from Colorado. I would assume Shedeur Sanders is somewhere on this list. But there's a few Buckeyes that we'll get. Number 18 on Bill Connolly's list, Quishon Judkins, running back, Ohio State. And he put this as a list of the most important non-quarterback transfers. So we know Judkins with Travion Henderson, who didn't go pro, both those guys are already on the Doak Walker preseason list, which is great. He writes, Judkins might have been the biggest luxury signing of the 2024 transfer class. They already had Travion Henderson, who is excellent, but injury prone, plus a lot of other guys to fill out that room. But adding Judkins gives the Buckeyes the best running back duo in the country. Judkins and Henderson rushed for 10 yards or more on 14% of their carries last season, both averaging 3 yards per carry after contact. Henderson's ceiling is probably a little higher when he's healthy because he can also receive out of the backfield. But now you're not just banking on your season of his health, but Henderson, Judkins, Emeka Egbuka, Will Howard, who we'll get to in a second, give Ohio State a very potent offense. So he was 18 as the first Buckeye on this list. Perennial stars in need of a breakthrough. Number 11, Carnell Tate or Jeremiah Smith, wide receivers at Ohio State. Now, we know Emeka Egbuka is your number one receiver. We saw Tate a little bit. He's a sophomore, but he's the only returning wide receiver who actually caught passes last year for Ohio State. Solid for a freshman, again, 264 yards, but again, he was behind Emeka Egbuka and Marvin Harrison. Now, you talk about Jeremiah Smith, the guy that Ryan Day about fainted in his press conference when he got an all-world recruit who I think will become the number one wide receiver at Ohio State by the end of the year. And that's putting a lot on a freshman with a guy like Emeka Egbuka, who's probably going to be a first-round pick next spring. And I think Jeremiah Smith might be the guy. He might be him by the end of the season for Ohio State. So there's your two more Buckeyes on this list at 11 for the most important players of the season. And obviously, this list is dominated by quarterbacks. Number 5, Drew Aller, Penn State. Number 4, Jalen Milroe, Alabama. New starting quarterbacks for potential contenders are the top 3. Dylan Gabriel, Oregon. Number 2, Alex Orji, who goes to Michigan. And number 1, on Bill Connolly's most important players for this season, Will Howard, Ohio State. He writes, on one hand, the job of an Ohio State quarterback is one of the easiest in the sport. You're throwing to countless arrays of 5-star receivers, and in most years, you're going to be handing the game to a dominant running back. You're going to score a lot of points, and you're probably going to win at least 11 games. Actually, dude, isn't that crazy? The last full season that Ohio State didn't win 11 games was 2011, off the suspension, off Tressel Fickle, and it was just a bad year. So for the last 13 years, you've won at least 11 games, again, outside of COVID, every single year. On the other hand, the bar is so high, this is pretty good from Bill, that Mondo Duplantis might not even be able to clear it, the pole vaulting guy who just smoked it.
Unbelievable.
Then the guy that... I know they got to wear tight stuff in the track. I mean, it's a means to an end. You give up a gold medal, but everybody knows.
Hey, man, could be worse.
Could be worse.
Could be worse.
You could lose it a lot of different ways. Speaking of polo, come on, Katie.
Come on, Katie.
1 o'clock today. We'll talk about her later.
Man.
I've got a bet on her, Pat.
Yeah? That's right.
Dude, she was
the odds on her were unbelievable, wasn't she? She was crazy.
$15 wins me $100.
Easy.
$15 wins me
Absolutely.
$100. All right, back to Will Howard, though, who's not a gold medal pole vaulter and whatever.
Could be just as important for the Buckeyes.
He might be, though. And he says, the bar is that high. A loss to Michigan is apocalyptic. Last year's starter, Kyle McCord, who get 66% of his passes he completed, nearly averaged 14 yards per completion, threw 4 touchdowns to every interception, finished 7th in college football in total QBR, and they still told him, get the fuck out. Think about that. 7th in the nation in QBR, a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, 14 yards per completion on 66% completion percentage. Bye-bye. They still told him to get out.
Unbelievable.
They still told him get out of here. Short-armed a couple throws in the Michigan game, therefore labeled an epic failure before he left for Syracuse. Will Howard ranked 23rd in total QBR last year, but obviously at Kansas State does not have what he now has at Ohio State. I thought it was interesting that Bill put him 1. Now, I get it. Ohio State's going to drive the clicks. I thought I was wondering, where's Carson Beck on this list, right?
Right.
So, again, of the guys that were established starters, Jalen Milroe 4, Drew Aller 5, Jackson Dart 6, Garrett Newsmeer of the LSU Tigers is 7, Cam Ward is 8, Donovan Edwards, running back at Michigan, is 9, Kobe Prentice, the wide receiver from Alabama, is 10. We talked about Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith. Like, am I missing this? He didn't even put Carson Beck on this list. Right?
Yeah, I don't see him.
Why would you not put him as one of the most important players coming for a team like Georgia, who's one of the favorites? Now, again, others that he would have put on this list. Riley Leonard at Notre Dame, who did transfer from Duke, and I think that's a pretty good get there from Notre Dame. And DJ Uiagalelei, who, how he's still playing college football, I don't know, but whatever. Hang on. He didn't even put him on the list where Cade Klubnik of Clemson.
To have Graham Mertz for Florida ahead of him, too, is wild to me.
Am I missing that?
What am I not seeing?
Okay, I think maybe the pitch that Bill would say is Carson Beck is like an important player. It's more about Georgia as a team, maybe?
I suppose.
Like, do you look at Carson Beck and think that he's anything of what even Stetson Bennett was? Like,
yeah,
no, I don't think so.
Really.
Yeah, that's where I would say he's probably a lot more like him than not. But that was interesting, man. Yeah, man. Huh.
No Shedeur Sanders on here either.
That dude, I didn't even think about that. He put Travis Hunter on the list, not Shedeur Sanders.
Fascinating list for sure. ESPN Plus.
What do you mean? Colorado?
No Texas quarterback either.
No, yeah. Where's Quinn Ewers?
Where's Quinn Ewers?
How is Arch still there?
Yeah.
How is he still there?
Other candidates at the bottom here, yeah, DJ Uiagalelei and Riley Leonard.
So again, Bill kind of put this. You know what? Let me go back to the top to see if he gave kind of an explanation here. Yeah, Penix, Bo Nix, they're all gone or whatever. Jordan Travis, JJ McCarthy, all gone or whatever. Okay. As I write this piece every year, there are birds in the hand and there are unfinished products. The annual most important players list is about the latter, unfinished products, is what he's saying. So it's almost like you cannot put Carson Beck on the list. You cannot put Quinn Ewers on this list, okay? Here are 25 players who could define the season with moments or long spells of greatness. So like Travion Henderson, Emeka Ibuka, they can't be on this list. They're too good. Can I ask why Quinshon Judkins is on that list then? Again, he transferred, but, all of them have a chance to make their mark in 2024. And I think it's so different of how we're going to watch college football this year. You know, I never even asked Pat, are you an Ohio State fan?
I'm a Buckeye fan,
absolutely. Fan. Okay. We are going to cakewalk our asses right to the playoff. You know what I mean? Like, It's going to be so hard. And trust me, I am over the moon waiting for that Oregon matchup. Like, I can't wait to get into the meat of the Big Ten schedule. You know, I differ. I don't know how you feel about it. I hate Michigan more than anything. I'd rather win national championships than beat Michigan. I would. Now, what I would like is beating Michigan leading to national championships. But the issue is, I think as you sit here as an Ohio State fan, you just go, these games matter, but they don't. All you're fighting for is the bye. And that gives a little importance to going undefeated. But Ohio State will be at worst 11-1 this year. At worst. They will walk in
Western Michigan,
Akron. Hey, man, don't,
let's go Zips.
My buddy sends all of his guys in NCAA, the video game, to Akron to start there. So that's how he works with that. Yeah.
I love it.
So, yeah, you'll cakewalk to your Big Ten championship. Don't we all want a rematch with Oregon right there, buddy? Yeah! We all saw the new Maps commercial that looks really good. That looks
against all odds too. I'm surprised that looked good because
with how they were going to do that.
About nostalgia the other day.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that one looked good too.
And it's because you forget how far west Nebraska is. It's not like that far of a jump to get over to Nebraska. You know, can we take this to another spot real quick on college football in the Big Ten? We got the time. We got all the time in the world, right? They need to start cutting some of the fat here. They need to start trimming some of this fat. And I think college football is in this issue right now where you have your haves and your have-nots. I know you, me, and everybody can sit down and tell you, at least in the Big Ten, who the haves and the have-nots are. The haves should be Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon. You want to believe UCLA and USC. You'd like to believe that. We'll see. Wisconsin, maybe. I think that's about it, right? Your have-nots. Illinois, Indiana. I'll even say Iowa, even though they come up every so often here. You know the other thing, too, that's so great? Remember back in the day when the West, and you had to have somebody like Northwestern somehow made a Big Ten championship game? That crap's out the window. Now you got legit teams coming in from the Pac-12 that'll hold up their end of the bargain out West. Like Rutgers and Maryland. Those are the have-nots. What are you going to do about them? What are you going to do? It's a waste of everybody's time. And it's never as simple as just cutting them out of the conference because they could have a good softball team and maybe Maryland shows up in basketball every so often. They got a good wrestling program. You don't want to sacrifice the other sports, but when it comes back to football that's driving all of this, are we going to get close to trimming the fat on some of this? And it is shocking that we're not there yet. And it's not that the out-of-conference games, like, listen, Akron needs that payday, okay? Western Michigan needs that payday. And the other thing, Ohio State needs those games because they need potential transfers to play so they get a little taste and want to stick around. They want to get ready as the preseason game, so to speak, before the season. Because that's the other thing. I don't want Ohio State or even Oregon limping into their matchup not tuned up. Not ready to go. I want them to go kick the living hell out of some MAC schools so they're ready to go. And again, it's good money. They still have tickets. And for some people that are Ohio State fans, Pat, that's the only game they can go to because the tickets are cheaper. It's a means to an end. It serves a purpose. I'm not saying that it doesn't. But the rest of these schools that I sit there in the Big Ten, I go, you're wasting everybody's time. What are you doing? What's no point in even being here? Now, the thing is that not an overarching statement about college football? When you look at a lot of teams, you go, you're wasting my time, you're wasting your time. What are you doing here? What's the whole point? But it's just saying, Ohio State, we know how good they're going to be and being able to pretty much cakewalk their way into the college football playoff. I just thought it was interesting that it was there.
The thing about it, too, is like you talk about these Ohio State, Akron games, Ohio State, Western Michigan. The way that it's going with streaming as well, I know we don't need to rehash that, but
yeah.
Are you going to pay for Peacock to watch the Buckeyes versus the Zips?
I did.
Yeah, I mean, we will. That's the thing.
I paid for it for the Olympics, which I have been wearing out my Peacock app lately, which has been great.
Absolutely.
It's been a lot of fun.
And Katie Moon later today.
Yes.
But that's the funny thing.
Had $100 riding on her. Come on now, Katie.
Yeah, 100. Absolutely. But the thing is, too, is like the crews that they've got going for those games are big time.
Yeah.
But when Ohio State, Notre Dame is on, Saturday night kickoff or whatever Peacock calls it. Yeah. Oh my goodness. It was electric last year.
Yeah,
the Ohio State Notre Dame game was electric.
All right, actually
a lot of fat.
It's funny. It's funny this works out this way. 20 minutes ago, Jake Trotter, Adam Rittenberg, Big Ten preview. Let's do it. College football outlook for the Big Ten. Two teams that should be in. Pat, Oregon, Ohio State. No question.
Easy money.
In the running, tell me if you disagree with any of these. Penn State, and they write, no team could benefit more from the expanded playoff than Penn State. They have 6 top 12 finishes under James Franklin, despite never making the 4-team playoff. That game that they beat that Buckeye squad in Happy Valley, that's still nauseous. It was at that was the year after they won the national championship, was it not? And you were primed and you were ready to go, and they stuck it to you. But anyway, Drew Aller, yes, that'll be fine. Do you
Pride
think
of Medina?
Yeah. USC in the running. Would you agree with that?
I guess so. I think they kind of have to be.
Lincoln Riley. I don't even know who their quarterback is. D'Anton Lynn? Is that the I don't even know USC's starting quarterback. Am I wrong for that? It's not Caleb Williams. Out of there. They put Michigan as in the running. Do you buy that?
I do not.
I don't either. They got Colston Loveland, tight end. Got Mason Graham, is going to be a first-round pick defensive lineman. Okay, fine. And all these suspensions and all this other kind of stuff that comes down for them, I said it before, I don't care. I hate Michigan more than anything. I don't care what they do to them. You could try to vacate wins or put him on this suspension or poor Sherrod Moore. I feel bad for him, man. That's scumbag Jim Harbaugh. Did all this and he ran away. I don't know what's going on. My ass. Long shots, Wisconsin and Iowa, the two other long shots for the college football playoff. Top transfers, Caleb Downs, safety, Ohio State. Dylan Gabriel going to Oregon. Quishon Judkins going to Ohio State. Impact freshman, wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith. Nebraska, Patrick Mahomes 2.0, Dylan Raiola, which is really interesting because he was committed to Ohio State. His dad's an offensive lineman. His dad was a Nebraska offensive lineman, legend, played in the NFL. He looks a lot like Patrick Mahomes. He's now at Nebraska. Nick Marsh, freshman wide receiver up there for Michigan State. Favorite players in the Big Ten. I forgot about Zachariah Branch, the wide receiver kick returner for USC. Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle, Michigan. Sebastian Castro, an Iowa safety. Tez Johnson from Oregon. Abdul Carter for Penn State. No Ohio State players in there for favorite players for them. Must-see games. Texas, Michigan, September 7th. USC, Michigan, September 21st. Ohio State, Oregon, October 12th. Ohio State, Penn State, November 2nd. Washington, Oregon, November 30th. As is Michigan, Ohio State on November 30th. Numbers to know. It has been 7 straight years that either Michigan or Ohio State has won the Big Ten. Pats, that come to an end this year. Does Oregon get it done? You don't think so?
Buckeyes get it done.
There you go.
I don't think there's any way. I think there's a renewed sense of urgency with Ryan Day and a sense of focus with that team. I just don't see it happening. I think it's all Buckeyes.
Here's a number to know. James Franklin's record against top 10 teams at Penn State, he is 3-17 against top 10 teams at Penn State. They are just average. They are just the average Nittany Lions. That's what they should change their name to. That's pretty much it. Power rankings, number 1, Ohio State, 2, Oregon, 3, Penn State, 4, Michigan, 5, Iowa, USC, 6, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Rutgers, Washington, Minnesota, Maryland, Illinois, Northwestern, UCLA, Indiana, Michigan State, and then Purdue. There it is. So there's a little breakdown there for you on the Big Ten. A lot of college football coming up. We'll be there before you know it. All right, let's do this. Let's catch our break, recap ourselves here, get ourselves set. Again, busy, crazy morning out there. Hope everybody's safe. Pat's got all the morning update to get to. We'll get to the grid. We got our bracket. We'll get ready to go for the guards today, and we'll keep our ears to the grindstone here. Everything going with that Brandon Aiyuk. I haven't seen anything more in this, Pat. I haven't seen anything more than that. I saw you typing up a couple questions over there. You want to throw one out to the people?
Yeah, I think
you want to do college? You want to do Brandon Aiyuk? What are you feeling over there?
I think there's going to be a couple. I think we might do these in quick succession. But do you really care about Brandon Aiyuk if he turns down the Browns?
I like that.
Yeah. And then I think the second one will have to be, is there a challenger to the Ohio State Buckeyes this year in the Big Ten?
I like that. Maybe if you want the Watson stuff, would you have played Watson in the preseason?
Play Watson.
I'll leave it up to you. Let's get that. Let's catch our break.
Yep.
We'll come on back. We'll reset. We'll get everything going. But first, our Big Ten, our big play. We got to get with the Big Ten. We're big play. They're the Big Ten. Come on now. The big play. First annual outing. Coming up August 31st, folks. We're going to be out there. Little Mountain. The Stars will be there, as we know. Just do this. Go to bigplay.com. Right there, you see the event page. We'll all be there having a great time. But as I've been mentioning, we want to be able to help out some charities. So if you go down there to our Eventbrite page, you will see the charity activation. And you have to select that as a ticket, even though it's free. That just gets us your contact information. And we want charities out there. Here's what we'll do. On-hole activation for you. Bring anything that you like. We'll supply a prize, and any proceeds that you get go right back to the charity. So I know we have some signed up already, but we have more opportunities for charities. Any charity that you either work with, you run, or you just know. We'd love to have you out at the big play outing. So it's going to be August 31st, Little Mountain, 1 o'clock shotgun start. Registration starts at 12. We have foursomes available. You want to golf with Hanford Dixon, there's an opportunity to do that. You want to golf with the Williams boys, you can do that as well. Check it out. Just go to bigplay.com and you'll see everything for the outing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for that, and we'll see you there. All right, break, grid, morning update. Got it all for you. Follow it on Twitter when you can. At Matt Fontana Show, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. All at Matt Fontana Show. Back right after this.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just, that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky
have to say, Pat, that First Energy's website has never been as trafficked as it was yesterday. I'm on it this morning. I'm like, what's going on? They are preparing a crew assessment. They haven't even dispatched to our location yet. I ain't going to have power tonight, man, either. It's going to be what it is. Hopefully everybody stay out there. Welcome back. Fontana Show. Right here, Big Play. Matt Fontana, Pat McGuire with you. You can follow us on Twitter X at Matt Fontana Show. We're up on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch as well. We'll get to the grid coming up. Plenty more stories as well, but Pat's got the morning update. Take it away, Pat.
Yes, we do. Play a little music, intro music for us.
I think that's the right one.
I like
Sounds
it.
good
I like
to me.
It. I like it. But yeah, so early on today, we got the White Sox. They had a 21-game losing streak. But it came to an end last night. The White Sox got back into the win column. One of the most pathetic baseball teams I've ever seen. So my question for you today, Matt Fontana.
Yes.
Take your pick. The 2024 White Sox or the 134 1899 Cleveland Spiders.
Probably the White Sox.
You think so?
Yeah, no.
In the dead ball era.
It is the dead ball era, but it's like these are professional athletes that, you know, back then these guys were farm kids and they had others like that. And that record, that time, that's so different. I get it that they keep the records going back that far in baseball. But yeah, we're talking live ball era. And they were flirting with it and they got close. I mean, I also look at it and I say, I asked a question yesterday because Andre brought it up on the broadcast. Is it harder to win or lose 20 games straight? And I think there's a world that it's harder to lose because if you're going up trying to put together meaningful at-bats, you're trying to do the right things every single night, wouldn't you think eventually something will turn for you? Eventually you get an error, a seeing eye single, and you kind of find a way to get a win. I look at it also from this standpoint that Will you remember the White Sox more? The fact that they beat like the A's, who are just crap too. Like that almost doesn't count either. You know what I'm saying? Like they got it. Congratulations, I guess.
We talked about it earlier. A couple weeks ago. I don't know why the Guardians have to play down to the White Sox too. A couple
we
of those
can't
losses,
some for some reason them and the Tigers. We cannot
couple of
play
those
against
wins
them for
this
some
year for the White
reason.
Sox are the Cleveland Guardians with the best record in baseball. But
Yeah.
I don't claim to understand the game.
It's a
I
weird
wish I
game,
could,
man. That's the length of the season. That's how far it goes. Day in and day out, freak things happen. Yesterday, what? Framber Valdez was an out away from a no-hitter. And then what? Corey Seager takes him yard. Like, that's just the craziness of the game.
And I think he's got a no-no as well already. Framber Valdez.
I think he does, too.
I believe so.
Does he not?
I think we could look that up.
But isn't it funny, too, that, like, no-hitters, sometimes it's, like Nolan Ryan and all that. Other times you're like, Dallas Braden, perfect game. Like, Armando Galarraga should have had one. It's great. He pitched no-hitter last year. Ironically, almost exactly 1 year apart. He did it on August 1st of last year, and he had one on August 6th last night until Corey Seager said no thanks.
You think about that one. The Astros have had 2 in 1 calendar year. The Guardians
got no hit.
They got no hit a bunch of times.
10 days. Was it 10 days apart that they got no hit?
But
Crazy
we haven't thrown one since 1981, since Len Barker's perfect game.
Barker's perfect game's the last one. You're right. You're correct.
Crazy.
That's
But moving on. A lot of baseball stuff too today. The MLB announced in 2025 that the Braves and the Reds are going to play at Bristol Motor Speedway. That's kind of an unbelievable venue. My question for you, Matt, is what would be the craziest venue you would want to see a game at? A baseball game, football game, doesn't really matter. Where would you want to see it?
See, it's funny because like the NASCAR racing gets crazy because they go to the Coliseum and they do the Clash there, which just sucks ass, Pat. I'm a NASCAR fan. It's bad. It's horrible. So they do when they go over to Ireland to play the game with Notre Dame, I think that's pretty cool. This is crazy. One of the first things I thought, remember when they used to play the basketball games on the aircraft carriers?
Oh, yeah.
And then they had to cancel that Ohio State one because there was condensation on the court. I remember covering that because I was over at ESPN Cleveland and I was running the games. So I was up late that night because it was like a 6 o'clock tip. It was Ohio State. And I don't even remember who. And they were playing on the deck of a Navy aircraft carrier. And they're out there and they're like, oh, there's condensation on the court. And I go, wait a minute. You're telling me that for all the millions of dollars spent on this, you are on a ship in a bay in Virginia, and nobody thought that there might be condensation on the floor. Nobody really thought ahead on that. Whatever. So I'm trying to think. That's a great question about what would be a great spot.
Because actually, talking about the Buckeyes earlier,
they
play at Wrigley Field this year. And I know football in baseball stadiums gets a little weird, like the Pinstripe Bowl.
The Pinstripe Bowl,
doesn't do anything for
it's
me.
like,
Especially in the winter. Maybe in the fall it'd be better.
The other thing to talk about is stadium series because the Blue Jackets are playing at Ohio Stadium. If anybody has tickets, please tell them. Dude, so I don't have season tickets. Those are the only pre-sale right now. I'm feeling confident that I see some on the resale sites for like $80, and I'll pay $100. My brothers and I all want to go. $150, I think, is a max for our ticket, which should get us decent seats. But like when I put the request, they're like, we have had 200,000 requests for tickets, and I go, okay, sure, fine.
Sure.
So that's really cool when they play that. But football, because you need the massive stadium. I mean, NFL will be in Australia before you know it. The thing is, you need the security. Like what I would like is for them to do kind of what they do in baseball when they go back to the Field of Dreams. Go back to a high school stadium.
One of my absolute favorites.
You know what I mean? Like, get that vibe of like going back, but you need security and you need all this other stuff and you need the tickets. That's a damn good question.
Yeah. And they just played at the Negro League stadiums.
That with Rickwood. That was fantastic. That was great. What's that version for football, though?
Yeah.
I don't know if there is one because
they've got so many iconic venues already.
And they already play indoors. So it's not like it'd be something special about going inside or something like that. I know maybe they want to go to Europe.
We'll throw it up on X.
Yeah, I'd like that. I'd be interested.
Yeah,
I'd be interested. If you could pick a venue that college football hasn't gone to yet, where would you go? I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's a good thought.
I like that.
A good thinker there. I like it.
Are you track and field guy, Matt?
A little bit. I watch it. I'm envious because it's just like these are some of the fastest human beings in the world.
Absolutely.
And is there something not like... That's what I'm looking for. Like
raw.
It's just like from our evolution or whatever you want to believe or whatever, like speed. There's nothing about other than just speed. And I know there's hurdles and there's 200 and there's 100. There's something about speed that I think is just so raw in nature.
To be able to be able to look at somebody and be like, I am faster than you. It's such a funny visual
Not
to me.
something I had to deal with
Yeah,
often.
not me either. But
it's okay.
You know who did was the American Cole Hocker last night in
Yeah.
the 1500 meter. Jacob Ingebrigtsen, he was the favorite from Finland, I believe he's from. He is one of the more outspoken track people. I know there's a lot of personalities in track and field. I can tell you that firsthand.
Yeah.
But American Cole Hocker came from almost the back of the pack. He was probably 5th or 6th and made an absolute break for it. Took home the gold for the Americans.
It was impressive, man.
Unbelievable finish. Unbelievable
I mean,
finish.
the thing is to be able to run that distance and still have that much gas left in the tank. Now, I think we've all been there when you play a sport, you're dead, but you're just that adrenaline kicks in. You're like, we're just going to haul ass right now. And that was really impressive. I've enjoyed, every day I sit down and I've got something to watch. Team USA women's soccer. I bet on it, but I didn't win. What the fuck is extra time? How do I not? They won. I put money on them to win the match. They won, but since it wasn't something about extra time, I didn't cash. I don't understand. Basketball covered yesterday, which was just fine. But yeah, the track and field, which has been so much fun. My wrestling. I'm a big wrestler.
Absolutely.
So I watched the Greco. The freestyle starts today, so I'm pretty excited for that. It's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun to watch. And yeah, Team USA, are they back on top with the gold? I know they're way far away in the medal count, but are they back on top with the gold?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I mean,
so-
it's been an unbelievable Olympics for the U.S.
It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely unbelievable. And Katie Moon obviously goes for
Let's
gold
go.
today. She's later today. Check it out on Peacock. And, you know,
They got to put that on NBC, right?
I think so, right?
Yeah, that's got to be. Gold medal, she's in it.
Yeah.
I didn't look updated odds. So I got her before the whole thing started at plus 550. So she was second. So there's a clear favorite on the other side of things. Women's basketball goes today too, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They playing Nigeria at 3 o'clock, 28.5 point spread.
Right.
I kind of
Yeah, the tough part for Team Nigeria is that the Ogwumike sisters,
Yeah.
they play for Team USA, always
Yeah,
have.
right.
I know they've got Nigerian descent, but they have played for Team USA. And, you know, if 2 of your best players from your nation are playing for Team USA, you're kind of
It's kind of cooked.
It's tough.
All right, pole vault updated. Katie Moon is moved to plus 450, but Nina Kennedy is a big favorite at minus 200. So
I don't know. I'm still taking Katie.
Hey man, I put money on it because there are just people from Northeast I'll put money on. When Stipe finally fights John Jones, I'm putting $100 on Stipe to knock him out.
And you'll cash.
And I hope that God, I hope.
Absolutely. Yeah, so our last one today, Matt, is actually on a sadder note, but one of the more iconic baseball executives,
Yes,
Billy
yeah.
Beane, passed away at the age of 60 after a battle with leukemia. He's got one of the, he gets remembered for Moneyball, but he's also, he was openly gay ex-player, one of the very few people in baseball who have done that. He's got just an unbelievable record that people kind of get lost with the Moneyball thing. But I hope he gets remembered for a long time. He's really an incredible executive, and he really stuck his neck out there on so many different ways.
Absolutely.
Just an unbelievable person passes away at 60. So crazy to think about in 99. He was only the second Major League Baseball player to come out as gay in 1999, which is, there haven't been that many since. So
No,
for
and
him to do that was unbelievable.
And I also, when you think about, like, it's just, the importance of all of that and that step forward and all that, I think is certainly important. Now, again, he's a little different than the other Billy Beane that we talk about sometimes. Because there was one, so there's Billy Beane the player, then there's Billy Beane the front office guy. You're thinking about the Moneyball front office guy. They're two different. It's okay. That's all right. They have the same name. One's got an E at the end of it, and the other one doesn't. So Billy Beane is still there with the Athletics, and he was the subject of Moneyball. But that's okay. But yeah, no, certainly, and that importance, the level of that, it certainly cannot be understated in today's world. So certainly, RIP, and that was a sad one to see yesterday from the side of baseball. Can I get you one football thing too to add in before we go?
Absolutely.
The NFL doesn't want people fighting at joint practices. $200,000 fine has now been handed down to the Detroit Lions and the New York Giants. So again, the NFL has confirmed both the Lions and the Giants have been fined $200,000 for multiple fights at their joint practices between the clubs earlier this week. They were reminded in a memo last month that fighting would not be tolerated, unprofessional conduct at joint practices as well. So the NFL coming down heavy-handed with $200,000 fines for each the Lions and the Giants for their joint practice fights. You know, it's funny because you look at it. Pat, you remember Mike Patton?
I do.
When they went to that Indianapolis thing and they scrapped, and Mike Patton's like, "Yeah, man, that's what I want." And everybody's like, "What?" And I understand that you want to go to places and like compete, and you want to have your teams back and all that kind of stuff. But when you go there with the idea that we are going to get into fights, that's how you piss off other teams, and that's how you get these fines. And also, bro, that's how you get people hurt.
Absolutely.
You know, Malik Neighbors was swinging on a helmet.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Break your finger while you're at it. Like, bad idea. But I think the NFL realizes that they want to nip this in the bud too. $200,000 on the sniff at. I know these teams make all this money and stuff. That's about as heavy-handed of a fine as you could get for a team when it comes to fighting. So the NFL's trying to step in on this too and get it out of there. All right, you want to try to knock the grid out?
I think so. We got a special guest actually.
We do. Ryan, do you have a camera for Ryan?
Ryan's joined us. I do not right now.
You don't want to be on camera, Ryan? We'll go sit over there.
We'll get Ryan all set up for the grid.
But, Ryan knows what he's doing with the cameras anyway.
Tell Pat we'll put the grid up real quick.
We'll put the grid up. Tell him what music bet is for the grid, too. I don't feel like it really ever hits. The green one, Pat.
Green one. Plain green.
Plain green. There it is. Now we're good. Well, Ryan won't be on this anyway, so just help out with the grid. Just stand over here. Just help us with the grid. All right. Yeah, you got it? All right. You know how the Immaculate Grid goes. We are perfect to today on a Wednesday. We knock it out today. There's 3 of us to do it. We should be able to do this and continue on for our potential giveaway for the fans out there. You know how it works. Players up and down, left and right, 10,000 career passing yards. Hit it again.
Hit it again.
We got to extend those bets out. We'll do that.
We got to get a little fade out there.
10,000 career passing yards. Go. Now, again, they just had to have played there at some point. So let's go Washington, Alex Smith. Not that one, the other.
Hang on 1 second.
We're good. There we go. All right, Alex Smith.
Ooh.
That one. No. Not the tight end that used to play for the Cleveland Browns. Okay. Obviously, Matt Ryan. And Matt Stafford. Okay.
Hooking.
There we go. All right. What opens up to?
I like it.
What's that?
Keep the music underneath.
Yeah, we like it. It just gets a little vibe going.
Vibes
A little
good.
vibe for us a little bit. All right. What do we like? Okay. What? Wait a minute. What's Chicago Atlanta that I'm missing here? Was there not? No. Cordell Patterson is exactly who I'm thinking of. Well done, Ryan. Well done.
Good pull from Ryan back there.
Ryan's here. Bears Rams. Bears Rams. There's got to be like a legacy like quarterback or something like that. Can hold off on that. All right, Washington, like Jacoby Brissett, no. Robert Griffin III, no. Montez Sweat works right there. Right there.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, made the trade.
Yeah, he made the trade. He's played there too. Falcons, Packers, Brett Favre.
Did he ever play for the Packers?
Did you play? You mean the Falcons?
The Falcons, I mean.
He was drafted by the Falcons. He got drafted by the Falcons.
Right.
Brett Favre. Brett Favre.
Okay.
There you go. 74%. Pretty hot one there. All right, let's see if we can knock out Green Bay, Washington. Packers, Rams, Clay Matthews.
Yep, for sure.
Clay Matthews the third. That one, yep. There you go. All right, now we just got 2 left. We got some time here. All right. We're doing well here. All right, Packers, Washington. See, here's the problem is, again, like 2 franchises that have been around basically since the start. There's got to be some older players there, but that's usually where we struggle. All right, Packers, Washington. I think the quarterbacks might not be our play here.
No. I'm trying to think running backs.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, nothing there that's coming to mind anyway for me. Jimmy Graham never played in Washington. Ryan?
Martellus Bennett.
I don't think he played in
I
Washington.
don't
I think
so
you're right.
either.
All right, you want to flip over, focus on the Bears and the Rams?
Bears Rams.
All right, Bears Rams.
Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson.
I like it.
Allen Robinson is correct. Well done.
All right.
All right. All right, final one
Last
here. We
one.
got time. Let's just sit on back here. We got time. We got time.
We messed up the top left corner last time, too.
I know. I
Don't let
know.
me
That's a
forget
good
it.
call, yeah. All right. Again, like when you go to an era of the past, wait a minute. Oh, man. I always think about Mark Brunell in this. Ryan laughs. I always bring him. Like, I know Mark Brunell played in Green Bay. And I think he played in Washington.
Oh, man.
Hold off on that. If we come up with nothing else, I might go with Mark Brunell there. Okay. Oh, no, not Shannon Sharp. No, Sterling? No.
Sterling Sharp.
Yeah,
I don't feel great about it.
I don't feel good about that either. Did Bubba Franks ever go? No, I don't think so. I think he
That's a
stayed.
pull.
I like that. That was a pretty deep pull. I think he stayed in Green Bay. I don't think he ever went down there.
I think he got...
Houston, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he was in Houston. I don't know if he's still there. I think he was there. Dude. I don't think so. Donald Driver, no.
Donald Driver.
For some reason, I'm liking my Mark Brunell poll here.
I'll type it. See how we feel.
Who's that?
Richard Rodgers.
That's a good poll too, but I don't think so.
It's right there for you.
I know.
Man.
Who's that? No.
No, Randall Cobb.
No. Oh man. Charles Woodson, no. Why do I think Charles No.
Trying
Right?
to think linebackers too.
Yeah, linebackers are going to be tough. Linebackers might be really hard for us on that. Albert Hainsworth never went up there. Remember him?
Oh man.
He never went up to Green Bay. Oh, no.
Man.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I think Mark Brunell right
think
there.
it might. I mean, I think it works. I think it works.
All right. Trust in the system.
Let's
Here we
trust
go.
in the system.
Sam Brunelli right now. No. Mark Brunell.
Yeah!
Hits! It
Yes!
hits!
Yes!
How about that?
Yes! Yes!
played.
I felt
Take a
good
bow.
about it. Hell
Take a
yeah.
bow.
Let's go.
Unbelievable.
Let's go. All right.
Well played there.
2 days away from a giveaway for everybody out there with that. Good. I felt it in my bones,
Let's
man.
see some other options too.
Yeah, Mike goes, Brunell was right. And Desmond Howard.
Haha, Clinton Dix. Wow.
I forgot about Clinton Dix. That's a good pull, too.
Yeah, wow. We were way
Good one. Yeah, we had a lot of the favorites
yeah,
there.
Kirk Cousins.
I think we had all the favorites, actually, except Clinton Dix.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah, Mike tweets. He goes, "You're good, man." Desmond Howard. Desmond Howard. Yes.
Really? Wow.
I think that's what I was thinking about
Woodson.
when I mentioned Woodson. I really that's exactly what it was. All right, Brunell works. All right,
like
well
it.
done.
I like it.
Good. Love it. Here we are. Day 2 coming up. All right, let's do this. Let's catch our break. When we come back, we'll dive. I don't really have time on today. So, unfortunately, on the morning, it was just kind of crazy morning. So, we'll get to our plays for the Guardians coming up. We'll recap all the Aiyuk news. We have a lot of questions out there at Matt Fontana Show. We'll revisit that. Stay with us right after that.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky
All right, back here on the Fontana Show, gearing up. Doubleheader today for the Guardians, but I want to go back to some more questions this morning. On our Twitter side of things, at Matt Fontana Show, you can follow us Twitter, Instagram. We're also up on YouTube and Twitch, and Pat threw up quite a few this morning. Let's see what we got. Pat, we will start. Well, actually, which one do you have first up there? Yeah, it's me. How's it going? You see our two questions up there. First off, will the Buckeyes have any challenging in the Big Ten this year? I voted no. I don't really see it. And then also, do you care if Brandon Aiyuk wants to come to Cleveland or not? And I said no very much on that one, too.
Neither of those answers really surprised me, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
right.
I mean, I know it's only 13 votes into the Brandon Aiyuk thing, but it's Cleveland is a town where it's like, you don't want to be here, we don't need you.
Right.
Sayonara, see you later.
And it's also like you don't want to have to force and jump through a lot of, and again, any player that you want to trade for, there's going to be hoops that you have to jump through. There's some things you're going to have to do. You're going to have to eat it up. Sure, fine, okay. But it's like when it's too much and the juice just isn't worth the squeeze anymore, then you move on. And I really think that's what the Browns are able to do in this situation. Now you kind of turn your attention and you wonder if he goes to the Steelers. And I'm not one that's also like, am I worried that he goes there? Not necessarily. But I also I'd rather him go somewhere else. I don't want to see them have any success there. That being said, I thought this was interesting from Seth Walder. 5 NFL preseason trades that could still happen and Seth would like to see happen. Are the Browns on any of this list? Let's find out. Number 1. The Bills trade a second-round pick to the Las Vegas Raiders for Davante Adams. That is a pretty spicy trade there. Now, again, I think the Bills would line up with that in 2 seconds. Isn't it a little weird, though, Pat, that, Davante Adams is the traded man right now? Everybody, I know the Jets thing had so many legs, and they keep bringing up, he's going to go back and join Rodgers. But it seems like when it's somebody like Davante Adams, or really, I'm going to say somebody like him, but when you hear so much that this player's going to get traded and they're on the move and they're out of there, how often does that actually ever come back to fruition? You know what I'm saying? anytime that it's, I don't want to say media created or fan created, it's very rarely the reality of the general managers that they would go make that trade. Now, that being said, would Davante Adams not be a perfect fit for what they need in Buffalo? I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
100%.
Moving on. And maybe it was just like, hey, we needed to move on from Stephon Diggs. It wasn't working here anymore. But the fact that they did jack squat nothing, and I'm saying that about Gabe Davis, and I guess Keon Coleman is fine, but you didn't do anything to really, supplement losing Stephon Diggs the way you did. I'd make that trade in 2 seconds if I was Buffalo.
100%.
To get Davante Adams.
And then you think about, what they got for Stephon Diggs is they got a second and a fifth for Stephon Diggs and a sixth. So, I would honestly take Davante Adams over Stephon Diggs for that offense specifically.
Yeah.
I think having a consistent route runner like that and a person who's not really going to complain too much in Davante Adams is huge, as opposed to taking somebody like Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, no, I get it. And it's going to be hard because when you know that they have a need and you obviously hold a piece to that, they're going to hold it up for even more, which is going to be hard. The rest of these trades are all kind of in the weeds. Like the Falcons get Baron Browning from the Broncos. They get Taylor Heineke. They trade him to the Lions. A 3-team trade out there with the Saints, Bears, and Giants. I don't really see that. Cowboys get Elijah Mitchell from the 49ers. I bring it up to say this, though, Pat. Do you think there is still a move out there for the Cleveland Browns? Now that this Aiyuk stuff is pretty much done, do we just write this off and say the Browns, they're done with their acquisitions? That's pretty much it. I know there will, and we got to leave room open that the Browns will eventually pick some guys up that get let go. And, once the cut down day comes, and there's always those moves, the Browns will let go of some players. They'll pick up some guys. Do you think there's any other trades out there outside of Brandon Aiyuk that makes sense for the Browns? I don't think so, right?
I don't see anything significant. The only thing I could see is another running back depth piece, but like they did with Pierre Strong. I think that was late training camp last year, and he turned out to be great. He's a good back, but I don't see anything, maybe just running back depth, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's going to be about it for that. And the thing is, your team is pretty built. You're pretty set. You're ready to go, and you take it on out starting on Saturday against the Green Bay Packers there in preseason. We talked about Watson a little bit earlier, the fact that he's not going to play in the or at least in this first preseason. He's going to play in the preseason. We all know that. I was upset by that. The more I thought about it, too, I'm just kind of entrenched back in to get him some reps out there because you have Jordan Love playing for the Packers. And I get that he's a rookie, or not a rookie, but a younger player. You got to go. And I stop and I think to myself for this, Pat, and I say this. Deshaun Watson's about the same spot. You have got to be proven again. And I get that there's some, people that want to just say, okay, Deshaun Watson will get back there and he'll return to form and all that kind of stuff. I think you need to start viewing Deshaun Watson as an unproven quarterback. That's how I'm looking at it. He's played sparingly over 3 years. When he was in there this last season, sure, showed you a little bit. If you had an unproven quarterback, take Deshaun Watson out of it, take the contract out of it. Pat, if I told you had an unproven quarterback, would you not be playing him in preseason? Why Bryce Young is playing, I don't know. Right. But think about all the quarterbacks that aren't playing. They're guys that you know what they are. They don't need it. Yeah. I think Deshaun Watson needs preseason action.
I would agree.
And I would put him in there for a little bit in game 1, do your joint practices, sit him out of game 2, and you throw him in there for game 3 for a little bit. I really don't understand why they're not playing him in this game coming up.
I think it speaks volumes that Jordan Love is playing as well. Like, just the dichotomy of that first Browns game. Deshaun Watson won't play. Jordan Love will play. I think Jordan Love proved a lot in the last half of last year, but at the end, he's still 3 years. He had 3 years not playing of being unproven.
Yeah.
He's still willing to go out there and prove himself. I think it's very strange, the difference between those two quarterbacks, because Jordan Love coming off such a successful, end of the season and playoff run, Deshaun Watson has no room for that. Like, yeah, you've been in the league forever. How many years have you actually played?
Right.
It's kind of unbelievable to think about. So it's very shocking to me that he wouldn't play.
No, and that's I guess, again, you want to protect from the injury. There's also a little element that you sit there and you talk about the rest of the starters aren't playing and you want to view Deshaun Watson in that. There's a status symbol about not playing in preseason. You want to be standing on the sidelines, chewing sunflower seeds and hanging out with everybody else, right? Because there's a status symbol that has to go with that. I don't know how much of a factor that should or shouldn't be, but it is definitely something you got to think about. So the Browns will be back out. I believe they have practice today, and then I think they're off. Obviously the availability will wind up as they get ready to go for Saturday. Let me get you this. No practice today. Then they're back at it tomorrow, then off Friday, and then they'll be geared up for the 4:00 kick on Saturday against the Packers. So we'll have that kind of going on. And we'll see. I would imagine over the next couple of days, we'll have to see what happens with this Aiyuk trade and keep our eyes out for that. All right, let's get to it. Guards! Doubleheader today. Let's get it started. We start game 1. We've got Ben Lively, Brandon Pfaadt on the hill, going for the Diamondbacks. Let me get you into this. All right. On the season, Guardians averaging 4.6 runs scored per game. Arizona's offense is over 5, so they put it up. But the thing is, Arizona almost strikes out 9 times a game. Cleveland's down there at 8. So let's start this. Brandon Pfaadt, last 3 starts, a win and 2 no decisions. He has 3, 4, and 7 strikeouts, so 14 over his last 3 starts. He's given up 8 runs in his last 3 starts, 2 wins. The team has won twice and a loss against the Cubs a little while back, averaging about 5, 6, 7, so about 5, almost 6 in his last 3 starts. Ben Lively, 2 wins and a loss in his last 3 starts. He only has 12 strikeouts in his last 3 games, but he's got an impressive 5 earned runs given up in his last 3 starts, which is pretty impressive there. So and the under is set at a low 7.5.
Yeah, that's
and
very
obviously
low.
these trends will count for the afternoon game too, because we won't have the update on this. The over has hit Arizona's 8 of their last 9 games. They're 5-1 straight up their last 6 games on the road, 6-1 straight up in their last 7. They are 8-3 straight up in their last 11 games against the Guardians. You flip it over for Cleveland. Over seems to be the play. 5 out of their last 6 games at home, their last 5 games in a row, and the over is hit 5 out of their last 7 games against the Diamondbacks and 4 out of their last 5 when the Diamondbacks are here in Cleveland. All right, let's make our wagers. Do you want to do you want to go with both games, Pat, or do you want to just do one for the first one for the second one?
I like doing both games.
All right, let's do both games here then.
And something to keep in mind with the Diamondbacks, too, is their season-long trend. Last year, their bullpen was absolutely dynamite.
Yeah.
This year, they've blown a ton of saves. Their offense has hit tons of home runs late innings. They are up near the top of the league in runs on the 7th inning or later. We just saw Jock Peterson, absolute missile on Monday night. That one, really a dagger to the heart. But keep that in mind where their bullpen is already taxed and not pitching that well. So the over looks really inviting, at least for game 1. I love that play.
All right, let's do the over then.
I love that.
You like the over, game 1. Do you want to take the over, Guards win, or do you like just the over?
I like the, let me see. I like the over, Guards win, because I actually think Lively will strike out. I don't know what his line is for strikeouts, but I do like the strikeouts.
All right, so let's go over 8. Strikeouts, I can get you, you can just take it for whatever you want. Do you want 4? Do you want 5?
I think 5 might be pushing it, but
all right, let's
4
go.
I do like.
Let's go 4.
Yeah.
So let's go over 8, Lively 4 in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Second game, Guardians are actually the dog in the game 2. Diamondbacks are minus 120. Over under there is 7.5 with Carrasco. Do you just want to take them to win?
In the second game?
In the second game,
What's
you got
over in the second
Carrasco
one?
over under 7.5. So you're about the same
I don't know.
ballpark.
So it's
I want the hook. It's Eduardo Rodriguez, who hadn't pitched all year.
Right. And
so
we've seen him a bunch when he was on the Tigers.
Right. And I was jacked for last night's game because I love taking the Guardians and Lively to record the win because you just had such the pitching matchup there.
Right.
Now they move Pfaadt up. Now they get a better matchup there with Eduardo Rodriguez taking on Carlos Carrasco. But Cookie was on his game the last time he pitched, man.
Yeah.
What if we did Guardians win that and same thing, Carrasco strikeouts?
I think I like it. Cookie.
Oh, wait, you know what? I don't have player props yet for that game.
Okay.
Because they're going to wait to see
Yeah.
who goes with that.
I think the big thing for the Guards today, I don't know money-wise betting it.
All right, I can't do the over and Lively strikeouts together.
Gotcha.
So let me take out the Lively strikeouts. If I do over 8 in game 1 and Guardians money line in game 2 with a boost that gets me to plus 290.
I like it.
You like that?
Yeah, I got a feeling they take both today.
15 win, or sorry.
Traditional doubleheader, by the way. The second game starts approximately 4 o'clock.
Correct. I want to do $15. 15 wins me 60.
Okay.
On that. With guards to win game 2 and over on the 8.5 in the first game. All right, I'll ride with that. Boom, done. We're in.
I like it.
All right, so I like it. Guardians, obviously these games today are important, but man, are we getting ready to go for this weekend against the Twins. Off day tomorrow, I think is obviously going to help because you talk about the bullpen, like you're going to need it, bad over the next couple of days. And that does then lean you back towards being able to help out the Guardians in some of these games, which will be great. But yeah, it's big series coming up. I don't want to get too much into it, but these are big games.
Yeah,
have
what
you
can
been
you say? They're big games.
Have you found the story about the dog at Chardon Lakes?
I have not.
Have you not seen this? Okay, so it's taken over. Like some big golf channels have picked this up. So Chardon Lakes Golf Course over this past weekend. There's houses on the course. There's a lady that let her dog out. Somebody went into her yard to apparently hit a golf ball, which you're not supposed to do, hit the dog with the club.
Oh, my God.
The neighbors said they saw the guy. They heard the dog yell. The guy ran out of the backyard. Lady comes out to give it her dog named Milo. He's bleeding out of his nose. They take him to the vet. Now, very thankfully, the dog is going to be okay. But I'm happy to report they found this asshole.
Yeah.
They found him. And they obviously went back. They knew the time. They knew, who would be coming around that time based on the tee time.
Yeah.
And the neighbor got to look at him. Cops found him. Found him. Trespassed into the yard. Dog was bleeding from the face and unable to open its eyes. The vet revealed, thankfully, minor injuries.
Yeah.
Again, it was on the Cleveland subreddit. Then it went to a larger golf. I think Nuclear Golf picked it up. And Nuclear Golf, Zaire Golf picked it up. They have millions of followers, don't they? I think they do. 2.2 million on Zaire Golf. They found him. Good. Good.
Unbelievable.
Charges should be deterred. It's cruelty to animals.
Yep.
Like
it's double. Yeah, double charges.
Ban him from the course. Ban him from the course. That poor dog.
He'll never play there again.
He's never play. You know what? If I owned courses across North Europe, I find out who this guy is, I'd never let him play golf anywhere ever again. What a jerk. And they said the dog. I see the dog. It looks like a friendly little dog, and he's out in his backyard. And by the way, you're not supposed to hit golf balls out of other people's yard.
Yeah,
jackass. Good. I'm really glad that they found that guy.
Yeah,
I found, and
take
especially
your triple bogey and move on.
Yeah, right. To pick it up and go. And like the other thing, when I saw that, because I've been following the story for a couple days because it happened this past weekend. When I saw it start to get picked up a little bit, I was like, they're finding this guy. They're finding this guy. And I'm glad they did. You should be held accountable for that kind of stuff. But the update was that Chardon police, again, have been able to pick up and find out exactly who it was. So there you go. All right, final thing for us, our bracket of the week in honor of the Browns being back at training camp. Your most obscure Browns training camp, obscure player of all time. Either one. What do we got, Pat, for our opening results? Those were heavy favorites.
Yeah,
Damian
absolutely.
Sheehy, Giuseppe. A little closer there. There's Scoopy Wright, who I voted for. Devin Kajust advances there. If you scroll up, could you see the rest? Yes, that.
Absolutely.
Click that. Groups 3 and 4, please read them off for the people tonight.
For the people. Group number 3. Hopefully we can see this. Josh Lenz.
Josh Lenz, who was, again, a hot number 1 seed on this.
Yeah. Austin Watkins, Willie Snead, Jordan Norwood.
All receivers. That was the receiver group on that.
Receiver group. That rounds out Group 3. Let me see if I can get this up here.
You're good.
Yeah, and then Group 4, Ben Gay, Chad
RIP.
Mustard, Carlton Mitchell, and
Bob Wiley's gut. Ryan wanted to put Bob Wiley's gut in.
That's a good one.
So we put him in there. So again, vote at that at Matt Fontana Show on Twitter, and we will have our champion on. Isn't that a fun? The receiver group was the one that I thought was kind of hard for me.
Yeah,
because Lenz, like Watkins, people were ready to fight over Austin Watkins making this football team or not. Yeah. And a lot of people forget that Willie Snead was here.
Yeah,
he was here.
Yeah, Saints legend, Ravens legend, Browns legend.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what though, like I need justice for Brogan Roback. I think he has been
bro.
absolutely slighted.
Yeah.
And I won't stand for this.
I just love the name
Will not stand
Brogan.
for it.
Brogan is a
Brogy?
little Brogan is an out there kind of name.
Yeah, living in that little RV back there in Berea.
Yeah,
Remember that?
I like.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
What a good group that is.
Yeah. I don't know if this helps anybody with an update, but if you're going to 30 Seconds to Mars tonight, they're pushing the show up. It's now at 6 o'clock instead of 6:30. I don't like. It's so crazy. So we just got the update from a friend. Like they don't think power's going to get restored till this weekend. So stay safe out there. Gas up the car. You know, and I do want to shout out. There's a lot of businesses out there that are like opening up. Like, hey, you need to come in and like charge your phone, or you know, you just need somewhere to be.
That's great.
Fly's been in here all week. Damn fly. Be safe out there. Help each other out when you can, and we'll see how it goes. So again, with the power, I know I've been clicking all morning to see updates on what's going on. There's a lot of trees down, man. There's a lot of
trees. Oh,
Where are we at in West Park here?
West Park's always a struggle.
They are still preparing for crew assessment. Outages have been reported. The crews will be assigned to investigate. They've not even prepared dispatch yet. So, yeah, that outage map was nuts, man. That was I should probably get text alerts. Should probably sign my wife up for that. It's her number, not mine.
Easier to do then. I like it.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, there were trees down in we were over in the West Park area as well. My parents' house, big old branches down. 15 footers probably, Matt. So
yeah. There it is.
Man.
Yeah, it's been bad. And again, it's like for it to be a couple of days now. Thankfully, it cooled off because if it was really like blazing, like I'd feel bad for a lot of people. But we'll see how it goes. Again, stay safe out there. Get rolling with it. We'll cut a little short today because I got to get back.
We got one quick little shout out right here at the end. It's 8-7 Day. Our friends over at Garage Beer.
Nice.
Yeah, they're doing a Travis Kelce giveaway for 8-7 Day, August 7th. They got lots of cool giveaways. So drinkgaragebeer.com/87day. Get yourself.
I'm going to go retweet that right now from our friends at Garage Beer.
Some fun exclusive prizes on 8-7 Day. You know, double your odds, triple your odds, quadruple your odds.
Head over there. 2 times your odds if you follow Garage Beer. 3 times if you retweet that. 4 times if you tag your friends in it.
I like it
and
a
the
lot.
first 1,000 people to enter receive a limited edition hologram sticker sheet there from our Kelsey boys.
That's Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
That is.
Don't forget that.
And now with Garage Beer. They chose to get signed up with Garage Beer.
That's right.
Oh, and that ends tonight.
Yeah.
That ends tonight. So
One
check
day
it out,
only.
their friends at Garage Beer. Let's go, boys. I love
Stay
it.
on it.
I'm not going to enter because I feel bad. I don't feel like I really should enter on that. So, okay. One of 6 different exclusive 8-7 day prizes.
Yeah.
I see it there. There's some shirts. There's some nice sandals.
We're beer for you. That's a phenomenal shirt.
That's phenomenal.
That's a good
one.
That's like the one you ever see where I'm here for the hot dogs.
I'm
at the
here for
ball
the
game.
hot. Yeah, here for the bear.
Where I'm
here for the
from,
bear.
T-shirt, I believe.
There you go.
Great.
There you go. All right, retweet that out for our friends at
Absolutely.
Garage Beer. Check that out. Great stuff. Also, quick reminder again, our outing with Garage Beer is coming up on August 31st. Go to bigplay.com. You'll see the Eventbrite page. You can get signed up right there. Off to the races, and we'll see you out there at Little Mountain coming up on the 31st. So again, appreciate everybody joining us. Got off to a little bit of a slow start with everything going on. Should be back for the full 2 hours tomorrow, and we'll get geared up and locked up and ready to go for that. Pat, appreciate you coming in with everything going on. Be back tomorrow, same time, same channel. You can always follow on Twitter X at Matt Fontana Show, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch, all across it there. For Pat McGuire, I'm Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.